Hi, greetings, fellow sleuths. We'll have a look at Nancy Drew Season 2, now continues on with The Legend of the Murder Hotel. At the Breaker Hotel, three girls haze a new Howell College volleyball recruit by making her stay in a haunted room in the Breaker Hotel. One girl eerily tells Jen that 4 people have died in the room, which is why it's nicknamed the Murder Room. They take Jen's phone and leave. Evie tells Jen she thought she heard chains the night before, but everything turned out fine. The trio stands in the hallway when they hear chains rattling from inside the room, followed by Jen screaming. She bangs on the door, but the girls refuse to let her out as it will disqualify her. When they go inside, Jen has vanished. Nancy starts her first day as Carson's PI, learning they're handling a divorce case and he needs her to go through files, standing in finances from the husband. While going through the box, she finds the Columbia College course booklet. Carson asks if she's interested in attending, but she's sure she can even make it in with how poorly she handled her high school career. He just doesn't want her to forget about Columbia. At the clock, George is still haunted by Odette and tries to perform an exorcism ritual using a clay doll. Nick knocks on the door, so she lies about cleaning as she removes all the magical artifacts. Bess gives Nick a coffee as they wait for George to come out of the locked room. Nick is too worried about George, but Bess thinks he just needs to sleep so he leaves to run an errand. George emerges a few seconds later and brushes off Bess's concern. At the Drew house, Nancy opens her front door to find 3 college girls who ask her for help, having tracked her down from addresswayfinder.com. Nancy lets the girls in and learns their recruit, Jennifer Watts, was kidnapped. They can't go to the police as they were hazing Jen at the time, which is illegal, and could lose their scholarships if the police found out. They explain that Jen was taken by a ghost that haunts the Breaker Hotel. Nancy recognizes Legend Room 413, and the girls think Nancy is the only person who could help them find Jen. Nancy agrees to help them. Nancy texts Ace to meet her at the Breaker Hotel and interrupts an argument between a customer and Amanda Bobbsey. She thanks him for the assist as Nancy walks up with the girls. Amanda recognizes Nancy, so she thanks them for their help in finding her brother Gil. The group goes to the murder room, which they have reserved until midnight, as the girls reserve the room for the weekend every year for initiation. It's about to dawn on Friday and nothing happened. The legend claims that when the room takes a new victim, blood weeps from the walls, but Nancy believes that's just a story. One of the girls presses that the window only opens 2 inches now. Since the 70s, people were so overcome by despair when they stayed in the room that they jumped out. Nancy tries to prove that the window can open more, but it doesn't, and blood appears on her hand, followed by more blood pouring from the window. Meanwhile, Nick meets with Ryan to see if he found anything on the drive-in the 2 weeks since he's had it. Ryan cross-references the drive with files, and now he doesn't think the bonus god is the first last time his father murdered for business. He wants to follow the money on the offshore account, but the wealth manager won't let him into the account history. Nick panics that the wealth manager could have told Everett that Ryan was poking around. Ryan thinks that the wealth manager could have told Everett that Ryan was poking around. Ryan tells Nick to trust him and drives off. At the Drew house, Nancy and the college girls try to find the spirit that took Jen. While Nancy is researching the hotel. Ace learns that the hotel was a private mansion before its renovation, and a bunch of people died building the mansion. The original servant's bell system is on display in the hotel's bar. Nancy leaves Ace with the girls while she investigates the hotel more. At the clock, George is cleaning up when Nick intervenes to help her. She assures him once again that she's fine, but sees Odette in the mirror and drops the glass. Bess hurries over to see if she's okay, but they're interrupted by Nancy, who needs help at the Breaker Hotel. George tells Odette's reflection that she'll deal with her later. Ryan meets with Carson to undo his grandfather's will, but Carson makes him rearrange his services by paying $1, but only asks for $50 bills. Ryan explains that his grandfather founded Hudson Enterprises who wanted to run like a monarchy, and the corporate structure is laid out in the will. The company was left to Everett and Josiah, but Josiah drank himself to death, so the company went completely to Everett. Carson finds that the company would go to Ryan unless he triggered stuff for the forfeiture clause by making a move against Hudson Enterprises or its CEO, in which case Ryan will be cut off entirely and the company goes to his heir. Ryan points out that this is the part he wants to do, which confuses Carson, as Ryan's grandfather is dead, so his will won't be changed. Ryan explains he decided not to stay on the sidelines and makes a move. And if he makes a move, the company will go to Nancy. And if ever learns who Nancy is, he would destroy her or kill her before she could destroy the company. Carson warns him not to do anything that would trigger the clause, but Ryan fears it's too late, so Carson wants to ensure that Everett never finds out about Nancy. At the Breaker Hotel, Nancy wonders why the heat is weird in the room, which Bess thinks is because of ghosts, but George points out that they live in Maine. Nancy thinks the draft could be from a secret door from a servant's corridors. Bess finds a secret door which throws her, and the trio enters the secret corridor. From behind them, the secret door closes. Nick arrives at the Drew house in response to Ace's SOS text, only to find the college girls have overrun the house. In the secret corridor, Nancy and the girls track the hallway until they find a piece of Jennifer's shirt stuck in the doors of a dumbwaiter where the rope is cut. Nancy worries that Jen is trapped in the dumbwaiter, so they head to the basement to check. Nancy finds Jen's bracelet and some rubble, while Bess finds a cupboard full of jars of blood. A needle and syringe are in the cabinet, and Nancy fearfully realizes that this might not be ghost-related, as someone could be using the hotel's history to cover up murder and kidnapping. The five VHS tapes labeled with the names of victims with the word torment next to the names. A man sits upstairs and shouts that they shouldn't be down there. Nancy recognizes the man as the hotel owner, and when he returns, lights come on. At best feigns that they were just lost, and they pretend to be thankful for his help. As they leave, Nancy notices security cameras. In the lobby, Nancy tells them that Mr. Holmes isn't the killer, as he would have locked them down there if he were. The labels on the jars of blood are from the butcher. She tells them that the blood is from Frank's butcher shop on Main. The chains are for rattling behind the walls in the servants' passage, and the scream tapes are sound effects. George realizes she's a genius, and Nancy doesn't think anyone died there. She wants to access security footage to find out what happened to Jennifer, and beckons the girls over to Amanda who's having tech difficulties. Nancy asks for the tapes so Amanda can help as the footage is password protected. At the Drew house, Ace scolds Zoe for cooking pancakes in the oven, and Nick loses the game to Evie just as his phone chimes with an alert that Ryan Hudson has been a community outreach director of Hudson Enterprises. Ace receives a text from Nancy and leaves as a smoke alarm goes off from the oven. Nick begs Ace not to leave. At the hotel, Ace arrives to help Amanda with her tech problems. He becomes flustered behind the counter but runs a debugging program which the speed surprises her. He offers to type slower, which she wouldn't mind. At the Claw, Nancy gets an alert that Ace uploaded the footage to their private server, which surprises Bess, but Nancy ignores her as she combs through the footage. They see the dumbwaiter fall and Jen climbs out. As another girl approaches Jen, when the girl turns to the security camera, she is revealed to be George. Dun dun dun! George explains you don't want to worry them, but Odette Lamar has been time-sharing her body. When George died and came back to life with a shroud, she was alone. It feels different than with Tiffany, as she was almost dead within 24 hours, but Odette has been with her for weeks. She tried exorcisms, but nothing worked. Nancy realizes it wasn't George in the video but Odette, and she doesn't remember anything when Odette takes over. Nancy's worried as the possession could kill her, and Bess wonders if the possession is different from an older ghost. They realize they have to talk to Odette to find Jen, but George doesn't know how to make her appear. At the Drew house, the girls order pizza as Nick calls George, with the girls don't approve of, so they make him tell them everything. The girls give conflicting advice, with one suggesting a follow-up text and the other thinking that space is best. At the Claw, Bess tries to lure out Odette with a photograph, French TV, pictures of a vineyard, 18th century novels, but nothing is working. George thinks time to go to the police, but Bess thinks it's a bad idea. Nancy rushes in with the last letter she had read from Odette's lover and threatens to burn it if she doesn't come forward. Threat works as Odette snatches it out of Nancy's hand and stomps out the fire. Odette claims she felt the sounds of the woman screaming, but Jen is with the hounds now and she won't be coming back. George returns and Bess believes that George killed Jen. Nancy comes Bess still wonders what Odette wants or what she was doing at the hotel. Nancy asks George for her phone using track Odette's whereabouts, learning that the Hounds is a reference to the Greyhound bus station. Nancy finds Jen sitting on a bench outside the station, telling her that the teammates asked for her help. Nancy thinks that Jen was in the room alone when she found the hidden compartment, which hadn't been closed all the way, so she decided to run. Jen explains that when she fell to the basement, an angry French woman let her use her cell phone. Nancy points out the servant's door was shut behind her so the teammates couldn't follow, which made her wonder why. Jen wanted to vanish since college isn't what she thought it would be, nor is she. She built her whole identity around getting into a good college, so when she saw the secret door, she thought she could disappear without being the sad girl who dropped out of college. Nancy understands that feeling as she is the high school burnout after her mom got sick. She stopped trying in school. Jen's impressed that Nancy solves mysteries despite everything she went through and thinks that Nancy is a badass. Nick finds Ryan is infuriated that he got a job with Everett, which Ryan knows, as he has all the power now. Ryan recalls how Everett taught him how to throw a punch to deal with a bully, but when Ryan did about Everett's punch and was hit, he started crying. Everett called him disgusting and useless, so when Ryan went back to school, the bully wasn't there, as his family had been paid to transfer their son to another school. That's why he took the job, so he could get close to deal a fatal blow, so the only way to pull off his plans with Nick's help, the Nick will be in danger. Nick promises he's all in due to his promise to Tiffany. At the Drew house, Jen's selected to the team, but she declines the spot as she doesn't want to play anymore. The girls hug Jen and leave the house as Nancy watches. She fills out a school application but freezes on the last name prompt. At the Claw, George asks Bess not to tell Nick about her being possessed as he already wakes up screaming nightmares of her dying in his arms. Bess agrees to wait while they figure out a way to get rid of Odette. George listens to Odette, who warns that the only way to get rid of her is to kill George. At the Break Hotel the next morning, eight suspects see if Amanda's computer is running well. She asks if Nancy gets what she needs. She isn't mad, but just didn't appreciate the flirting and lying, which is assures her the flirting wasn't a lie. Amanda checks the hotel, saying the reason for his visit is to find his wife, and places the phone on the counter with a picture of his wife, asking Ace if he knows her. He looks at the photo he sees is Bess. Looks at the photo he sees Bess. Dun dun dun. So I think this episode is kind of interesting, and yeah, I think Nick will eventually learn about George being possessed by Odette, so yeah, but hopefully they'll be able to do something about that without killing off George, so yeah. So overall, I give The Legend of the Murder Hotel 4 Deerstalkers out of 5. But anyway, tune in, but wait till the next episode, The Quest for the Spider Sapphire. So, until then, remember everyone, the game's afoot.